Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVDA Analysis and Assessment. This week has been so crazy for Nvidia. Nvidia was able to make all-time high and then went back to 130s again. In this video, we'll discuss how Nvidia can behave in next few days using technical charts, fundamentals, and other data analysis. Now, let's get started. Starting with the daily summary, Nvidia closed at 140.11, and that is 0.021% down. So, not a major change from yesterday, but look at the movement. So much fluctuation in early hours today, but after that, it kind of stable, right? It was moving around 140. And at this point, after hours, is at 138.54. So many things happened for Nvidia, right? And we know that Mr. Jensen Huang's speech was the catalyst for this week Nvidia's movement. Nvidia was able to make all-time high of 153, but it could not sustain above 150 and it had to come down. If you remember in my previous video, my assumption was Nvidia should not be able to make all-time high. I was hoping Nvidia probably would test previous all-time high, but I thought maybe it will take multiple attempts for Nvidia to make another all-time high. So I was not 100% correct, but at least Nvidia was not able to sustain above 153. And it makes sense to me because in Mr. Jensen Huang's speech, there was nothing new, right? So market was too optimistic before Mr. Jensen Huang's speech, but after his speech, market started coming down. And possibly because Mr. Jensen Huang said something about supercomputers are away probably 30 years from now. And that was not well received by the market. Let's take a look what he said. So this is what he said, quote by quote, very useful quantum computers likely 15 to 30 years away, you know. So here also it mentions about 15 to 30 years away. And market did not like it because 30 years away is too much. So it had to come down. But I think it's a temporary fluctuations and eventually Nvidia stock price would absorb that data or news or speech and it will start recovering again in next few days. That's what I think. And looking at the forward P for Nvidia at this point is 40.49, is still around 40, so Nvidia has more potential to go further up. It may come down a few more points, but not a big room for Nvidia to go down big. So more chances for Nvidia to recover in next few days. Palantir 200.68. Finally, Palantir started to go down. SMCI 10.26. Not a major change from last 3 to 4 weeks on SMCI. AMD also got the hit in last few days. At this point, AMD 27.50 and continue to go down. So same comment about AMD. Probably it can go a few more points, but eventually it should recover in next few days. Now let's take a look quarterly percentage change analysis for Nvidia. So at this point, based on the cumulative percentage change from the previous earnings report, Nvidia is down about 2.845%. So more room for Nvidia to go further up based on the cumulative percentage change. Because in the last quarter, Nvidia was up about 25% positive. And if you see that, probably sometime early this week, Nvidia was around 153, and that would translate to about 7 to 8% positive cumulative percentage change. And more upside might happen before the earnings. Now, let's take a look at technical charts for Nvidia. You see 90-day hourly interval chart for NVIDIA and also the Fibonacci levels. In this Fibonacci level, I selected the highest point as the all-time high, and that is 153.74, and the lowest point I selected is 100.95, and that's the lowest point in last 90 days. So based on the Fibonacci levels, the next level of support is around 133.5, and that makes a very good buy for Nvidia around 133. And after that is 127.3. If Nvidia goes down below 133, then probably 127 would be a very good buy for Nvidia. I'm not sure Nvidia can go down below 133 in next few days or not. Today I placed a limit buy position for Nvidia around 137, but I could not get it. And also, I had another position for Nvidia as I showed you sometime last month. I was able to sell one of my Nvidia position around 151, but I still have one more position, and that is I bought around 148. So that's why I'm trying to buy one more Nvidia buy, and probably around 133 could be a good buy point. And also based on the MACD as well, you see that if you remember in my previous video, we saw the spike and the spike was too steep. Probably that was here. And I had the comment that probably Nvidia can go further up, but it should come down after that because in my opinion, that was too high and too steep for Nvidia based on MACD, so it had to come down. And I compared this behavior with this one, and this one. In all three cases, the steeper the curve, the higher the correction we noted, right, in last three historical data. Similar behavior I was expecting. So that's what happened. You see that Nvidia went up further, but see how quickly it came down and now is below the zero level. So from here, based on MACD, I guess Nvidia should make some recovery in next few days. Just like this, you see, it went up and also here went up. So let's take a look some news or other analysis regarding Nvidia. So you see some news regarding Nvidia and overall market. Let's start with this one that says Biden administration planning more restrictions on AI chip exports. US semiconductor companies share slip after hours. So that's probably one of the reasons you see after hours Nvidia and other AI stocks are down, and probably tomorrow possibility is Nvidia and other AI stock would be under pressure. And now let's take a look this one that says AI PCs and chips are highlight at CES. Demand concerns remain. So remember in the CES event, they're talking about chips and the PCs and the future demand. The demand still looks, kind of not too aggressive in the near future because some of the tech giants are not expected to invest heavily in next few months. But situation is not that bad as well. So now let's take a look this one that says Wall Street bullish on Nvidia following advanced AI development announcement at CES 2025. Let's open it. So some analysts are still very optimistic about Nvidia's future. For example, this guy, he maintained Nvidia as a buy rating and increased the price target to 220. And about the JP Morgan, they also are optimistic on Nvidia's future. They kept overweight rating and the price target of 170. So here it says, Nvidia expects a strong spending momentum in 2025, driven by Blackwell RAM and a broad-based demand strength. And Nvidia also expects significant revenue growth opportunities in the near future and probably 2025 overall. So overall, the situation is not that bad for Nvidia. You see that? Um, Nvidia is under pressure today and yesterday. Probably that's a temporary thing. And eventually, I'm expecting Nvidia to bounce back in next few days. No further stories about Nvidia at this point. Let's take a look economic data for this week. So on Monday we had service PMI, so nothing much on Monday. And Tuesday and Wednesday we had the ADP employment data, and that came 122K versus 136K. In my opinion, that's good and that's positive because in my opinion, that's good for the market because the private sector job increase was below the forecast. The forecast was 136. If it was higher than the forecast, probably the market would think that more jobs would trigger more inflation. At this point, inflation data is very important in the next few months because that will be a deciding factor for the Fed to do more rate cuts and how much. And tomorrow, I do not see any data coming up, but Friday is an important day that says a US employment report and US unemployment rate gonna be published, and market should react to those numbers on Friday. Overall, on my watch list, you see the mixed picture. Some are green and some are red. And the highest negative change you see is in SoundHound, and that makes sense because in last few weeks, the correction was due on SoundHound. So more potential for SoundHound to go further down in the next few days. So that's all about my analysis and assessment for Nvidia for next few days. If I summarize this video, yes, NVIDIA is under pressure. There are multiple reasons behind it, as I discussed, and also the employment data that's going to be published on Friday. That will be the key factor for the overall market and also NVIDIA. So in next day or two, probably NVIDIA should be under pressure. But next week, I'm hoping NVIDIA can make more recovery. I'm guessing probably around 145 level, Nvidia should come back starting next week. I hope you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.